Hey traders, I just wanted to start making more videos here now that I've finally got my audio upgraded and it doesn't sound like I'm talking to you out of a shower. Um, I did the FinViz video. I hope somebody watched it. I hope somebody's getting some benefit out of that in terms of how I'm finding plays on FinViz. But I wanted to do another another couple of videos today here too, just to show you guys some other sources that I'm using to find these A-plus plays that I'm plugging into the trading group here, Grindstone Trading. And then another video yet on how I then turn around and research those plays just to sort of give it the best possible chance of actually being a profitable play for you guys. All right, guys, so here's a couple of other places that I really like to look for really good, high quality plays here to research at least. One of them is insidertracking.com, which allows you to see all the recent filings for insiders and people at the companies actually buying shares in those companies. And that can be a really bullish indicator for things to come in the future. I don't use this one a ton because quite often what you end up seeing is these large caps and a lot of divvy stocks and people just loading up on those. I'm looking for movers, basically. But there is one interesting one on here, and I think I'll use it as sort of a running example for this entire video, is Allied Esports. Some insider went in and purchased, got $500,000 at $1.86. That's pretty awesome. That's actually really bullish in my opinion. So I'm going to click on this and then go ahead and research it a little bit more. This was a recent filing. This happened on the 29th, so this was just the last trading day here. A lot of the Twitter pumpers started pumping this one in here, and they've managed to kind of push it up all the way past $2 to $2.50, and it's coming down from those recent highs. But from a charting perspective, you can still see here that it's definitely trending upwards. And with this recent buy here, right here, $1.80, what did it say, $1.86? I was on the other screen. Anyway, I think it was about $1.86, which is sort of right end of day pricing here. Some insider jumped in and bought just a metric ton of shares here, so that's very bullish. I'm going to use this one as an example in my next video on how to actually research these plays and see if you can kind of get an idea from there how they're going. And I'll also touch on how to do a little bit of charting stuff in the next video too. Right now, I just want to show you the tools on how to do the research and kind of come up with your own list of tickers that you're interested in. So this is insidertracking.com. I really like this one. I'm then also, if what I find on here or anywhere is a pharma play, then I'm also using Biopharm Catalyst. I don't typically use this one to find plays, more just research plays, so I'll actually come back to this, but there are ways you can use this site if you feel like paying for a subscription to research plays too and see what all the upcoming approval dates are and stuff like that. So those are two really good ones, insidertracking.com, biopharmcatalyst.com. And then the other place I'm definitely always paying attention to is just simply Twitter. I follow a bunch of different people on here, so I'm very much just sort of looking around, seeing what's hot, seeing what people are talking about. Definitely kind of checking the buzz on things like Wall Street bets, seeing if we can get any insight from what's going on there. Crazy not to do that. I mean, the buzz is really what makes these low small cap stocks go up. So it's crazy not to follow the buzz. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But on here, one of the primary places that I look is, and it's just became available, just sort of, there it is, Dilution Tracker. One of our group members actually made me aware of this because I was following it, not really knowing that there was actually a Twitter page dedicated to it. I always follow Dilution. Dilution, of course, being when a company does an offering or a direct placement or a bought offering or something along those lines, which almost always for small caps results in a huge dip in price. So we've got all this list of companies up here. A lot of them I'm already kind of eyeballing and whatnot just to see what I can figure out.
But this gives you a really good idea of who's doing offerings. It's Sundial, their float is just way too big, and now it's getting even bigger with yet another offering. On the 28th, this is where I saw some really interesting ones. We had CGIX, which is now pulling back pre-merger, and then another one, AGTC, and that's one that I've posted in the group here that I've become very, very bullish on. So this gives you kind of a list of tickers to research to see if you can find some sort of bullish signals here, and if ultimately using the dilution to get a better entry point than all the other people who may have bought this stock over the last couple of weeks or months or whatever the case may be, just simply because it's pulled back so far on the dilution. So that can be a really, really good way to set up. And then a couple other things in FinViz that I didn't really talk about too. I know we did a couple of basic setups in FinViz on how to use it, but there are others too. So I wanted to just take a quick second here to kind of just show you guys what some of the other settings in FinViz are to look at plays. Because really, ultimately, at this stage, all I'm doing is just getting a list of tickers that I can research. That's really all I want to do. And those are my primary places to look. Be Twitter, insider tracking, FinViz, and ultimately, I'm basically just looking for really good entry points on there. So, and I know this probably looks extremely technical to a lot of you, but it's actually quite simple. You've got your RSI, Relative Strength Index. I want things that aren't already overbought. I don't like chasing things up the ladder. Gap, you can look for gap up stocks. I don't really find that too effective. I'm almost more looking for gap down stocks that are kind of flattening out at the bottom and are going to curl back up. Float, this is the amount of tradable shares. I'm trying to keep it under 100, but if you have custom settings, if you feel like paying for this, you can set it to whatever you want. I'll basically trade anything up to about 300 million share float, but under 100 for now. Analyst recommendations, they don't have all the data in here, so you've got to take this with a bit of a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, like I said in the last video too, all you're doing here is finding a list of tickers for you to research that match your criteria, and you need to just sort of figure out what your criteria are. So that's essentially how that works.
So hopefully you guys found that at least a little bit helpful in terms of just generating that initial list of tickers that you want to research in terms of setups for the coming week. I typically do this on weekends. I try not to do it too much during the week when I'm focused on a lot of other things like following my volume scanners and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to make another video here about then once I have that list of tickers, how to research them. So hopefully you guys enjoy that one too.